Hi guys, welcome to our channel. I'm Tina,
I'm Finola.
And I'm Kalina.
and this series is going to be called the People Series for now, or AKA PS. And the purpose of this series is to just have conversations or have conversations about different and personal experiences throughout people's lives. And we have a guest with us.
Wanna
Me,
introduce
hi.
yourself?
Yeah, I'm Tyfong. I'm their guest.
What's a fun fact
A fun fact.
about yourself?
I don't know. I don't consider myself too fun, so. But if I had to choose, I would say that I love to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I consider it to be a very, fun game.
All right, thanks for the fun fact. So I have a question for you, TJ or T-Pong. We call him TJ. He's a friend of ours. So yeah. What are you doing these days? Like, just in your general life, what are you doing?
I'm not doing much, considering all that's happening in the world. There's not a lot going on. So I just stay home, play games, eat, sleep. And whenever I have to do chores or go do errands, I go do them. That's pretty much it for like a normal day in these crazy times.
Yeah, understandable.
What are are you thinking? Are you in school, working, jobs?
I am working. I am a PCA for my grandma. I work maybe 20 hours or so a week, and not in school, but I am considering about going back. Yeah, and that's my main occupation, I guess.
What are you going? If you're going back to school, what would it be for? So then, like, what would your goals be, or whatnot?
I'm not too sure. I just know that I should go back to school and probably finish. Maybe I'll figure it out when I go. Otherwise, I'm not too sure.
Do you have any dreams or goals?
Yes.
Like, I already know
do.
this, but just
I do. One of my main goals is to own my own business, own my own property, and be able to make passive income that's able to sustain me and my family and friends, and at the same time able to help me give back to the community and all those people in my life who have shown and given me the experience and stuff that has made me to be who I am today.
So TJ, do you have any? Are you religious in any way?
I am. I would say so. I would, yeah, definitely say that I am. It's been a tough journey, and it still is a very tough journey to be going on, but thankfully I'm not alone in the journey. And a lot of it just comes down to just straight up, doing your research, looking it up, reading the books, talking to the people, and believing in something, to say the least.
Would you be willing to share what to kind of emphasize more onto like what people kind of know what you're talking about?
Yeah. So yeah, I would consider myself to be a Christian, because I do believe in Jesus and the gospel, and I've been having Bible studies, which have helped me understand and see a lot of things that I probably would never have seen or read into on my own. No thanks to Finola, really. If it wasn't for her, I probably would never have been able to find a solid foundation in Christ.
So I think something that's different with because Tina and I and Kalina have been grown up in a Christian family, and you didn't. So what would you say? Like, do you feel or like just the experience of like because I don't know how traditional your family was in like monk tradition, but like
Mm-hmm.
did you participate any of that growing up?
I did, and I for a little while I did believe in the stuff that we were doing, and like I did think that it worked, but as I grew older and kind of strayed away from that, is kind of like this is all just really just superstitious stuff, and there's no real evidence as to how all this works and how the traditional stuff that Hmong people do. Gosh, what am I trying to say? Yeah, no, I mean, yes, I grew up with it, and it was ingrained in me, and it still kind of is, and it is a big struggle to have to go through that at the same time of learning about Christ and Christianity and all that.
What were like some of the traditional things that you had to? Because I think we're not very familiar with it since we didn't grow up in that kind of household.
Yeah. So like what were some of the things we did in the?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's this thing where you tie these white ropes or white strings around your wrists. I think that's the most familiar. That's the thing that Hmong people are most familiar with, Christian or not. That is tying the white strings around the wrist to kind of signify that you're protected from evil spirits and whatnot. Another thing that Hmong tradition has shown me or taught me is that there's also a shaman who comes over, and he sits on a bench, and he's kind of the bridge between the spiritual world and the physical realm, and he speaks to the spirits and he talks to them and like tries to get information from them about like why is so and so like sick, or like why are they feeling the way they do, and the spirits will try to answer them, and then through that then they'll decide what to do from that point. And generally it's just one big feast after that. Sometimes it can go on for days, sometimes even months if things don't get any better. But I've never had to experience that. So
So like for us, like growing up as Christians, there's a lot of times where in church we talk about like making sure that our own faith is our own and not a parent's, because we grew up in that setting of being born into a Christian family. So like for you growing up, then would you say that like you believed those superstitions and stuff because your parents believed it too, or like was it like your own kind of belief?
I'm not too sure. Some of it, I guess, some of it, I guess, would be because my parents and grandparents told me about it, and like, don't do this or that, or else like things will happen to you. And like the one common one is not to stay out late and say your name out when it's super late, dark outside, or else
Never heard of that.
ghosts will follow you home, and they'll haunt you or something. But that's personally
interesting.
that's never happened to me. Yeah, so I
Wow.
never really
I've heard of
believed
like
it's like something like you don't want to mess with it, but then
Yeah.
like you don't believe in it kind of deal, you know? Like
yeah.
you wouldn't want to like you've heard about people's experience with like Ouija boards and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't believe in ghosts. You say you don't believe in ghosts and stuff, but then like you wouldn't want to mess with that stuff if it is real, you know, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the whole ghost and calling names and getting haunted thing, like it's like whatever, but I wouldn't want to mess with it if it does exist.
Wait, so like you're not supposed to say your name at night?
Yeah,
In the
like
dark, like outside?
after midnight or something, you're not supposed to be calling people's names out, or else a ghost will follow you home or something.
Interesting.
I've heard like other things though. Like you're not supposed to go out between a certain time because like
Yep.
there's a time where like ghost comes out.
Yep.
And
Oh yeah,
That's,
I've heard about that.
yeah.
That's like
yeah, I've
I think
heard
it
of
was
that,
like the time
but
frame was like 2-3 a.m. in the morning or something. That's
yeah.
from what I've heard. Yeah.
Bro, just imagine it's 1 o'clock. TJ!
No, but
I
like,
mean, like,
really,
not to make
though.
fun of
Yeah.
whoever
Yeah.
believes in that, but
Superstitions.
Yeah, but then there are stories of people posted online of like things that actually happened.
That's interesting.
Whether or not there's any merit to them, they do happen, and it could be that stuff is true or not. But I don't really believe in it. So
you say that you converted to Christianity. Has your family or anyone else converted to Christianity?
no. As far as I know, in my immediate family, I am the only Christian. I have an aunt in Oregon who is probably Christian. I haven't spoken to her in a while about it. And then I do have a cousin who is Christian, who also found Christ like later in his teen years.
Just out of curiosity, like, how did you perceive Christians before actually digging deeper into Christianity?
I always thought that Christians were as they've always been portrayed as like fanatical individuals who really try to convert people through force, but learning about it and actually like experiencing it for myself, that all of those stereotypes and such have been dispelled and just simply not true. And it I feel bad or sorry for those who still think that Christians are like that, but then it is also caused by actual fanatics who interpret the word wrong and spread the word incorrectly. And it's just a sad thing to think about, really.
Yeah, and how like Christianity, like people who are not Christian, they would always say that Christians are supposed to be perfect and that our God, like he won't judge you, like he loves you no matter what, which is true. But the lie is that God does judge us when it is judgment day. So when we die, when we go to heaven, like that is when judgment day, when he judges us.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like people want to paint Christianity as like a nice picture and only a nice picture,
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's just like all the good things when like it's not just about the good things. I mean, like it is, because in the things that in our suffering here on earth, like we get to receive eternal life with God, and that is the good part of it. But like sometimes people, they just like, oh, it's about love and goodness, and like, yes, it is about love and goodness, but then it also, being a Christian, like comes with sacrifices to be made. And I think then people, like, that's what makes people step away from like, oh, like I don't want to be a part of that, you know? Like if that makes sense. Like sometimes it's people just think like, oh, you're supposed to be good all the time. And it's all about love. Like if you're a Christian, you should love, but then like you shouldn't judge others, or you know, but like as Christian, like being brothers and sisters in Christ, like we are called to keep our brothers and sisters accountable. I don't know, there's just like a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely what I've learned is that as you become a Christian, that like converting or getting baptized isn't the end, and it's not the end all and be all of a Christian's journey. It's all the way until you're dead, and you go and you're gonna have to constantly fight for Christianity, and really do your best to help others understand and help keep other Christians accountable. And it's a harrowing journey, and I can't say that I'm ready for it, but I am. I know that I have to be. So
Okay, so just going based off of like how TJ said, or how TJ you said that it is an ongoing journey as a Christian, as a believer. I just also want to say that like for those who are not Christian, like we're all human, therefore we're all sinners. We were born as sinners because of the fall, and that makes us imperfect, and that's why we make mistakes. That's why we're not always good in the as a Christian is portrayed in society. That's just not realistic. Although, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't keep trying to be like Christ. We should try to keep loving and keep forgiving and keep being kind to one another. But like in reality, like we will fail, we will have bitterness, we will have anger, we will, we would even hold grudges against like our friends or our family or whoever, but that's just the reality of a Christian and as a believer, because we were born as sinners. And that's just something that people don't really understand, and I just want to clarify.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's really, because I think in reality everybody struggles with something, and like as like Christians we all struggle with our faith and with whatever the world throws at us. And I think it's going to be a long process journey of learning and struggling and doubting and learning again, and all that. And I was sharing this with TJ before that like going through the study of Genesis, like we've learned that like all our lives, like in Sunday school and in youth, and like with our family, we're going through Genesis, and again learning it from the Bible study with my dad. Like it still blows my mind. Like, oh my gosh, like why didn't I think of this before? Like this totally makes sense. And I think it's just where we are in our life and our understanding of the Bible in that moment of time where we are able to click and learn stuff. And so then when we relearn things, like it clicks differently because we've grown so much in our knowledge already, so that we continue learning. And like I was saying that like as Christians, that's always going to be something that you will do, is like relearning and learning new things. And just like I don't know, like that's how it is, what it feels like for me. So that like our journey as Christians, like you're not alone like in the process of learning. Like, and I was also sharing that I haven't even read the entire Bible yet. So like as someone who just entered into Christianity, like you're not alone. You're not like behind, I guess, You're just as in the journey as we all of us.
Yeah. yeah, that was one of my biggest struggles to kind of comprehend, is that like I was thinking like, you guys all grew up with it, you guys understand it, and it's going to take me a long time to do this. So but then as I went on and continued learning, it was very apparent that, you guys are just struggling as hard as I am. um, you may have some understandings better than I do, but yeah, it's still, you guys are still learning just the same.
Yeah, and I'm curious because I don't really know when you like officially converted. So when did you like officially accept Christ?
So, okay, so the thing with conversion is, from talking to Pastor Joshua, he told me that conversion isn't something that isn't, there's no like 10-step program to conversion, it just kind of happens. And it just, like, when you'll know, like that, when you understand that, like, you're in need of a savior, and that you are a sinner, and that Jesus died for all of our sins in order for us to live. um, and just understanding more and more about the Bible, and um, really delving deep into Christianity, and seeing all the struggle that comes with it, and that you're not alone, and all that stuff. Being converting it to be a Christian, just, it happens on your own time, and when it does happen, then you will know, uh, from what Pastor Joshua has told me. So for me personally, I think it came down to, um, I don't know, to be sure, I'm not too sure, but because it honestly could have happened at any point, but I think it came down to when, uh, the thing that I think about first when talking about this is when I was watching this documentary with Finola, and how they were going really in depth about um, what the gospel actually means, and what being a Christian really means. And like, it was very moving to understand that and have all that clarity. um, so that could have been uh, when, I guess, I converted, quote unquote. um, but then again, like, there's this time a while ago, maybe like a couple years ago, when I felt my life was beginning to decline, and I decided to pray about it, and for maybe a couple of weeks, and lo and behold, there's no way it could have been a coincidence. I keep telling myself that there's no way it could have been a coincidence that things just suddenly started getting better, and I didn't really put uh, a lot of thought into it until after it happens. But after I started praying for it, praying about it all, the struggles that I was going through, and things started getting better. There's it couldn't it must have been some sort of intervention, you know. Um, so maybe that could have been when I finally decided that he is real, and he just helped me. There's no way that I can deny that. So
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense, because like for like us, I don't think we could pinpoint in our life where, because like we've grown up, so then like when did we not necessarily convert, but like really actually believe that we need Jesus as our Lord and Savior. I probably wouldn't know where to pinpoint that in my life. But like I think and I think like with you, TJ, like that's like your testimony of how you found God, essentially. And like with us, I think it's our experience from childhood to now. All of that is like our testimony of how we found God in a way, like growing up within the church. I'm like trying to think back on my life. when I think when I actually like yes, like I believe like deep down in my heart. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree with both of you guys. Like, there's no definite like place or time when I like really really believed or really like finally realized that like he is real, he is a good God. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, if I were to have to, I would say like it would be in like recently, like maybe
That's
like
fair.
like late high school, early college or something.
Mhm.
Cause yeah,
Yeah.
like I recently got baptized like 2 years ago too,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I just want to encourage you, TJ. Like, I know you probably already know, but just to like re-encourage you that like you don't need to be shameful about anything about where your walk is, and because like some people realize like God is good when they're 80, 90 years old. Some people realize when they're 8 or 9 years old, but it just depends on where you are in life and where God is calling you.
Yeah, definitely. It's yeah, thank you. it's 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 kind of a strange feeling, yeah, to kind of know that you're not alone after kind of convincing myself that I have been all this time. When in truth, yeah, I'm not alone.
I think it's fair to think that like, oh, like I need to know all these things to actually be a Christian.
Yeah.
You know, like I need to know the Bible front and back in order to call myself that. But you know, like John 3:16, like for God so loved the world, whoever believes in him, will have eternal life. And I think that's like kind of gives us hope. Like, yeah, like even for me, like as like being a Christian, I'm like, I don't know everything, and like I feel like maybe I'm not enough, but like in reality I am. Even if I don't know everything, the Bible front and back, like because of my faith and because I believe in that, and like not like I should stop studying the Bible, but like it's okay if I don't know everything, because we're not supposed to know everything anyway, But I think like John 3:16, it gives a lot of hope. Like it's okay to not know the Bible front and back, and it's okay to continue learn and struggle and have tough conversations with people who may challenge your faith. I think that's what gives me hope to continue learning and digging deeper into the Bible.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something earlier? Because it sounded like, or looked like you were.
I forgot. I forgot what I was gonna say. But I do like wonder like how is your immediate family feeling about you? I don't want to say like transferring, but kind of like moving on from like the Hmong traditions to Christianity.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to anybody about it really in my family. I talked a little bit about it with my dad, and I just know that he's not too happy about it. And it's been on my mind recently about how I will go about telling him, and like all the stuff that can happen after I tell him. And yeah, I mean, it's scary, honestly. But otherwise, yeah, immediately nobody really knows. Yeah, and I haven't exactly told anybody either. So,
Are you afraid of your family like judging you or disowning you or
essentially, like not like a whole lot, because I've heard and I've seen the stories about that stuff happening, and it's like I'm mentally preparing myself for that to happen, and like kind of accept it when it happens. I think it's more so of like I'm afraid that my family's going to misunderstand me. Like they're gonna think that I'm like disrespecting them and the culture and everything. And I want to really emphasize that that's not what I'm trying to say or do. It's that it's just that I made a decision and I'm going to stick with my decision that I am a believer. And it doesn't mean I don't love my family. It doesn't mean that I disrespect my heritage. It just means that I want to, do my own thing and for them to be happy for me and respect me for that,
Yeah, I think it's really difficult too, because like with like the Hmong culture being kind of pretty collective. Yeah, like having that collectivist mindset, like where it's like, oh, like you have to like do honor these, or like follow like your family and like honor your family.
Mhm.
That's hard because like you do want to do that, but then at the same time it's kind of like, but you like have your own, you want to make your own choices and kind of not take control, but yeah, like take control of your life.
Mhm. Yeah.
Talking about control, so this is like a different topic. And you mentioned about being into D&D.
Mhm.
And I know that like you are a dungeon master. Just in case if people don't know, can you explain what D&D is?
Sure. Yeah, D&D is short for Dungeons and Dragons. It is a tabletop role-playing game where there's a dungeon master who essentially is the storyteller, and he plays with a group of people who are his players or his characters in the story, and they just go on adventures in whatever world they decide to imagine up, and level up, do quests, talk to people, act, and have fun.
And you are considered as like a dungeon master, right?
I mean,
Or you are.
I,
Yeah.
I am a dungeon. I am a dungeon master. I
I
run.
are.
I have, I have run
Yeah.
games as a dungeon master. I
There
wouldn't.
you go.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider like an official title or anything. But
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I have played. I have dungeon mastered my own games before.
When you create stories, like how do you come up with your like as a dungeon master? Because I know I'm not a creative person, but like Tina and Kleena, they could probably create better stories than I would because they're in that major.
Yeah, I mean,
like your
from
inspiration, I guess.
yeah, my process when it started, when I started playing as a dungeon master, the main thing that I went off of was a lot of movies and video games that I've played, taking inspiration from all of that and trying to turn that into my own thing. For the most part, it was like 80% the game in the movie and then like 20% my own ideas. But nowadays, I have gotten better at trying to make things as original as possible. But it is a hard process to go through as a dungeon master because you have to consider so many different things that see if they'll line up together, to see if they'll make sense with, and to see if like or to see if it all ties together in the end, and stuff like that. Like just a lot of story and movie elements that go into being a dungeon master. There's just a lot of things to consider.
I know, like for D&D, like there's like multiple characters, so that there's kind of like multiple, I guess, plots in
Mhm.
that whole story that you're trying to make. So like, what are like some ways that what are some ways you like tie it all together, not to like make it like a pretty little bow at the end, but like to kind of like make it flow in seamlessly
sense.
to have it make sense.
Yeah. Seamlessly is almost impossible, but yeah, I do my best to try and like make most of the game about the players and like their journey and becoming a different person, and how their characters can become different people and stuff like that. But it's the thing is that it's not a one person job. The dungeon master can't come up with everything for that player. That player has to play their part and develop their character during the game too, you know. So it is kind of tough to keep track of a lot. If you're playing with like 4 or 5 characters, maybe it's a little easier. But then when you're playing with like 6, 7, or maybe even 8 people, it gets really difficult to keep track of everything that's happening and what all their characters want, what they all want to do. Um, and it becomes very overwhelming. And sometimes for me, I've taken like months at a time to just kind of try and collect my thoughts, collect all the information that I have to weave together a decent kind of story arcs for each of them that will also play a big role in how their actions shape the world. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, it is a tough thing to do, to try and string everything together that would be cohesive enough to have to be fun and to be interesting.
Like, how did you get into D&D? Like, what made you enjoy it, playing it?
I never really knew about it until there's this YouTube channel that I watched that decided to run a D&D game and post their game on YouTube, and I watched it a few times and I thought, wow, this is really cool. This looks really fun. And I watched that series like 2 or 3 times. I was like, you know what, I want to give this a shot. So I talked to my friends about it and they were interested too, but then nobody really knew how to go about starting starting a game for us. So I was like, I'll just buy one of the handbooks and read through it, and we'll just do it, because nobody's gonna do it unless they have some sort of direction, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bought the player's handbook and then I read through it. I helped them create all their characters, and then we just played from there on. And ever since, we've been playing. So
How long have you guys been
How-
like doing this?
I was gonna
Oh, is
ask
this your
that
question?
too.
Oh.
yeah, so I want to say we started playing in junior year or the
Of high
beginning
school?
of senior year. Yeah, in high school.
Oh, wow, that's a long
Yeah,
time.
it's a long time. But then in the world of Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
that's baby compared to all the dungeon masters out there who've been playing for 40
What
plus
does
years.
that mean?
So from high school, what was that, 2014-ish to now, so 6 years. 2014, 15 to now. Yeah, 5 or 6 years. We've been playing, not consistently, but we've like
Mhm.
learned a lot and
Yeah.
have picked up a lot of things. But 5 and 6 years compared to a lot of the dungeon masters out there who've been playing for 40, 50 years
Oh, yeah.
is, yeah, we're still just babies compared to the rest of
Oh,
them.
okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Because we were playing on the 5th edition, and those that have been playing 30, 40, 50 years have been playing since the 1st edition. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's been a long journey for
crazy.
D&D. Yeah.
So have you guys been like sticking with the same story since the
No.
beginning?
So since the beginning, the very first game that we played was kind of a huge mess on my part, really, because we just kind of went in, we didn't really know much, and it was just very ugly. So I theoretically pressed the reset button and made an entirely new world and really gave it some thought before deciding to go into a second game.
And these are like your high school friends.
Yep. All of my players are high school friends.
Nice. Wow, it's a long time.
I'm just going to add in that Finola and TJ are dating. That's why they know so much about each other. So there you go. Are you still close to your high school friends who play?
I don't know. I don't know what you would define as close.
Like, do you still keep in touch? Do you still hang out?
Yeah, for the most part. We hang out mostly. We don't physically hang out, but we talk a lot. So we still talk like almost every day on over the internet. And play games together. But for me personally, I have felt like my group of friends are beginning to like lose touch and not really be that group of friends that you once were in high school, you know, that always hung out and like had each other's backs and stuff like that. But then life also goes on, so it's understandable.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense, because I guess people do have different interests as they get older.
Yeah.
And they'll get more distant.
Can we talk about your high school experience?
What experiences
I
exactly?
Can we know what kind of person you were in high school? Things that like you did, like I don't know, like after school stuff, or like were you an A student?
Yeah, I was a really good. I was a pretty good student. I was on the A and B honor rolls, and I did after school on Fridays for Japanese club because I was really into anime.
Let's
back
hear your
then.
Japanese.
I don't know how to speak Japanese. I only know like the very small basics.
Okay, like introduce yourself in Japanese.
I think it goes like Onamae wa Tyfong desu. I think that's how you say it.
How many years did you take Japanese?
I took 2 years.
And that's all you remember?
I retained very little information.
Actually, I agree with you, TJ. I took 3 years of French, and I don't remember anything.
Yeah, I took like 2 years of French in middle school. I remember like
what?
two
I didn't know
or
that.
3 things. Yeah, I remember like 2 or 3 things in middle school from middle school.
I only know like words and how to count, like from 1 to 10. I can't carry a conversation.
I think like in any language we would know how to count at least.
Yeah.
But that would like stick.
I tried learning how to count in Polish from one of my coworkers. That did not go well. I forgot it all.
I think you have to be consistent in it. If you're not consistent, then
you have to be very you would have to really want to learn it to retain a lot of the information too.
Did you enjoy your high school experience?
For the most part, yeah, I'd say so. It's a lot of good times. Hanging out after school almost every single day. Just chilling and not having to worry about anything.
Did you have a lot of girlfriends in high school?
No. I had one other girlfriend in high school. And it was terrible. I hated it.
You hated the relationship?
Yep.
Why?
I hated the relationship, and it's just a bad experience overall, because she wasn't the most understanding. She was very, very clingy and very jealous and envious of a lot of things. And I was very stupid to have stayed with her for a year.
Dang, a year is long.
Mm-hmm.
Which year in high school would be like your most memorable?
Most memorable? Probably freshman and sophomore year, because those are the years when we had the quote unquote cool seniors, and they were just the nicest group of kids ever. Like they were so cool. Everybody
be
knew who they
nice.
were. Everybody knew who they were. Everybody, like underclassmen, hung out with them a lot, and they were cool with it. And they were really inspirational and very charismatic. Had a lot of school spirit, and they're just awesome all around.
Dang, must be nice. I know, must be really
Well,
nice.
I actually did nothing, but like we had a good group of seniors too, upperclassmen, during my freshman year. Well, they weren't seniors then; they were juniors. But
Nah, man, I hated high school. I hated all the grades. I hated the experience.
Yeah, and then junior and senior year when they started to leave, when everybody was gone, you could feel that the school wasn't going to be that great anymore afterwards.
it was probably like this, and then like this the next year.
Yeah.
The level of I don't know, environment, or like the atmosphere actually.
Yeah,
the
the atmosphere and the environment changed a lot after the seniors left.
Have you
I
like
heard. Go
tried
ahead.
to be like? Oh, I was like, oh, sorry. I was gonna ask if like you and your friends like tried to like be acquainted with the lower classmen when
Underclassmen?
you guys were, yeah.
Nah, we didn't, because like the underclassmen during our year were very, like that was the start of the generation of kids who like didn't give a lot of crap about anything, and like they just wanted to be cool. They just wanted to have fun. And
Yeah, Kalina, you just want to have fun.
they weren't super nerdy or anything. They just wanted to be the cool kids. So it was like there were some cool underclassmen, but overall, there wasn't a lot that we could relate to with the underclassmen.
I was gonna say, but like, don't you have a friend who's like a different year than you are?
He's 1 year behind us.
I mean, I still consider that like underclassmen, because you know. Okay.
Other than that, a lot of we didn't really put in any time or effort with the underclassmen.
What was your question?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I heard that your school is like really bad now, and like the bathrooms are really bad. Like they're trashy, and then like just the school overall is like ghetto. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I haven't been back in a very long time, and I haven't heard a lot, so I wouldn't know. But I believe you. I believe that.
No offense to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know where the school is unless they know who TJ is.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna research on him.
Yeah, right.
Put everything on private so they don't know your information.
I already did that.
I mean, you should have all your info on private because internet security, guys.
Yeah.
Wow. It's funny. I don't think, like, just thinking about like how, because now you have some sort of contact with your friends and you hang out with them from time to time or play games with them. I don't think it's been a while since I've talked to my high school friends. That's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool that your group of friends are still friends.
Yeah.
But, wow, I can't imagine how many years of how long have you guys all known each other?
I think our quote unquote official group of friends started hanging out and being the group of friends we are now. Started in junior year.
Oh, okay. But some of them you knew from elementary till now too, which is crazy. Yep. I think. I mean, I've known you since elementary, but
yeah.
I mean, I can't relate. All of my high school friends, we all say that we miss each other and that we should hang out and then we should plan, but no one ever says anything. I'm like, okay. And I found out that one of my friends is engaged / married.
Oh wow.
So I was like, oh, so this is how it's gonna be? I'm gonna find out on Facebook and not like personally. Like, congratulations.
Were
But
you guys like that close enough for her to
yeah,
be
yeah,
like,
we were really
hey,
close
Tina, I'm
since
getting
middle
engaged?
school.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, girl, I drove you home like every day, like during senior year, and we had
Okay.
talks, and you still don't choose to tell me important things that happen in your life. Okay, I'll respect you.
I
Ugh,
respect your privacy, but you know, I want to know.
yeah, I'll respect your privacy even though you posted it to the public.
Wow. Are any of your friends getting married anytime soon, TJ?
Nope. I don't think, because like
Straight up, nope.
we don't. Yeah, because none of them have. Only one of them has a girlfriend, and the rest of them aren't exactly looking.
That's true.
Yeah, so they're not gonna be marrying anytime. I don't even know if they will ever marry, honestly, because I don't know if that's one of their goals in life is to get married and
Oh
have a
yeah,
family and
that's
stuff. You know, so we
Oh.
don't
that
talk
makes
about that.
sense.
They don't like talking about that stuff for some stupid reason.
Do you guys just not talk about that? Like, what do you guys talk about? What do
I
you guys
don't
even
know.
talk about?
You know, like maybe if like super cool best friends, probably, but like just in general, a group of guys, probably not. You know,
So like, with your close guy friends, maybe you guys have those talks before, like wanting to get married, or like
I don't
like,
think
I don't know,
I
life
have.
talks, I guess.
I'm not super best friends with any of them. I am closer to some than most, but otherwise, yeah, we don't. There's no. I'm the only one who's ever voiced that I wanted to get married and stuff like that.
Oh.
They've never mentioned like even with your close guy friends, they've never talked about it.
Not really. Like one of them is very uncomfortable with talking about it.
That's interesting.
Some of them, the rest of them, just don't really say anything. It's that thing where like you want to be respectful and wait for other people to talk, and then no, everyone just ends up not talking, and it's awkward for.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think like marriage and like future, like we want to do dreams and goals for girls, like girls like talking about it, you know? Would you guys say
Yeah,
so?
we talk about it a lot.
Girls
Yeah.
talk, we plan. We already called the place we want to get married at.
Whoa, didn't know
I'm just
that.
I mean, some girls do, but we don't.
Wow. Yeah, because I feel like girls like talk about those things. Like
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know
funny,
what
'cause
guys
just, like-
talk about.
Yeah, because like just last time when we were video calling each other, we were talking about marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The group of guys I hang out with aren't too vocal about what their future plans and goals are.
I guess it just depends from guys to guys, like what they talk about or not.
Like I don't know. Like I've asked, but they don't even know. Yeah, they don't even know what they want. So
Do they know that you're a Christian?
I think so. I think they kind of got a hint, an idea of that I am. But yeah. Like I think they knew before I even knew that I would consider myself a Christian, you know? Just because I told them that I go to church with Finola. So I think they just kind of assumed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they don't talk about their feelings. I don't know, because maybe they don't want to get judged.
Okay, but
Yeah,
first of all,
maybe.
and in your opinion, TJ, do guys talk about their feelings? Like, do you like talking about your feelings at all?
I love being able to talk about my feelings. Like it's very refreshing and it's very like it's like it feels good to let go of these or to be able to say something about how I feel, you know?
Yeah, because I think that's like that's like the like male stereotype, like to not talk about your feelings, you know, or like you
Yeah.
shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Pretty much. But it feels so good to be able to.
That's good.
Me, on the other hand, I don't like sharing my feelings.
But you do anyways.
I do. I mean, like in my regards to my relationship with TJ, I don't. Like he can like say that I don't.
Yeah, she doesn't.
And I have my reasons. But then like with other things, I like do share my opinions, I think, like in a fair amount of things. But I think when it comes to personal relationships, I just don't.
How long have you and Finola been dating?
4
Yeah,
and a
how
half
long?
years. 4.5 whole years.
I know.
Who asked out who first?
I did.
How did you ask?
I just said, I just asked, hey, do you want to hang out? I think that's how it
Mhm.
went. Like, just because I feel weird asking, hey, do you want to go out with me? Because it's like kind of like demanding kind of thing.
No, actually, I don't think you even asked me first. Like I remember you said that you were falling for me, and that's all that you left me with. And then I was like, oh, cool. Like I didn't know how to handle it because it was
I don't
until
know.
like
That's
Probably. That's probably what happened.
Cringe.
or either it was like I think I like you or something like that, and then it was in like like a few weeks later where you're actually like do you want to be my girlfriend?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they asked when I asked you out. I didn't ask when
Oh,
I
when I
asked you to
asked.
be my girlfriend.
Okay, there's a difference
Okay,
when
well
you say
that's okay. TJ's
TJ.
out of place. The girlfriend and now the guy.
I think us three got the idea of that question, but
Bro, he legit said, I just asked her to hang out. I was like, but like,
When I asked her to be my girlfriend was
yeah,
different.
like,
Yeah.
did you ask in person? Did you
Yes.
ask over
Yes.
text?
I asked in person.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was
Okay.
thinking literally like
Who asked
hanging
out?
out.
Yeah. Like, oh, I did.
Simple-minded.
Oh my gosh. See, girls
Hey,
understand
hey,
each
hey,
other.
Oh
That's
my gosh. And I was kind of getting
Noah,
lost. I was like, what?
what if like TJ like Finola, if like TJ asked you out online rather than in person, would you say yes? Or would you be like, no?
I think it would have given me a long time to reply back to him. That you would give me time, you know? I probably would have left him on scene, like, okay, I gotta think about this. And like now reply to him hours later. So or maybe never. I don't know. Like who knows? But like but because he asked me up front, I was like, I have to reply, like say something back. Or I mean I could have said I'll think about it, but like I don't know. If you
Like,
said it to me online,
I gotta go
don't know.
home.
Bye.
Wow.
Yeah.
TJ, you made a good choice to ask her in person.
Yep.
See, but that's the key, though. You need to ask in person. Like, it's just so lame to ask over text. Like, if
That's
it's a
true.
text, like, if you're not together, at least phone call or video call. That's better.
Mhm. How did you feel when you like or thinking about asking me?
Asking you to be my girlfriend.
Yeah.
No, asking her to hang out.
How was I feeling? I was nervous. Definitely. It was.
How'd you know it was the right time too? Like
I didn't. You never know.
you just said it.
It's never the right time for anything. You just gotta take a leap of faith.
Yep.
So like you didn't like plan out anything, like okay, like I'm gonna say ask her like right now or like today. You're kind of just like said it.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah. But I think at that point I knew like his feelings for me.
Yeah. It was a good like maybe month and a half maybe before I asked.
Mhm.
So.
A month? So
Mhm.
you guys were only friends for a month?
No,
We were
we've been
exclusively
friends.
talking for a month.
Eh,
We've
I mean-
known each other for like 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think because like we were those friends who were able to connect and just like like just talk, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's what
Like
made
it's not. It wasn't
easier.
awkward to just pick
Yeah.
up where we left off. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like if he was a total stranger that I just met, it probably would have taken longer. otherwise, because I feel like because I kind of know him from here and there, and like talking to him throughout, from elementary until college, and I was like, yeah.
Must be nice.
But I could have said no too. Like I was so close to saying no. I just got lucky.
But you didn't say no.
Yes. That's the thing. When we're like good friends like that, like that's hard. Like should I risk our friendship to be actually dating? I did, obviously. I risked it.
I mean, like, if you're really good friends or you call each other like your best friend, then shouldn't you like feel comfortable dating the person that you enjoy being with and talking to?
I don't think we were like best friends or very close at all. Like we were like friends where we are acquaintances. I don't know. But like because we weren't close throughout high school, we just talked here and there, like because when I did sports in high school, I went to, and I don't think I've ever saw you, TJ, right?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Do
You just
remember-
exposed this school.
I know.
Did I say it?
Yeah.
Can we bleep it out?
Bleep it and cover your mouth.
Anyways, yeah, we'll bleep it out. But whenever I went over to their school, I don't think he was never there. But like that one time we went to the
I was
New Year,
always
That
there.
was-
You were just never saw me.
No, you just weren't the kind of friend to come say hi to me like all my other friends.
I didn't know you were there.
Shout out to all those friends. But like, there's only one time I think in high school that I saw him was when we went to the New Year's all together. But and I don't think I guess
remember that.
he danced in the New Year.
I remember you were wearing all black, and I was like,
Yes.
man, he must be hot because he's wearing all black and he's dancing and his face is covered.
Yes. Yeah. Because I remember I was like, oh, like I know that one of my friends dancing, or like a few of them dancing it. But I feel like I don't remember if I introduced you to any of my friends then.
Nope.
Because it was like
Because that night, that was when I was dating that one person.
yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, that night you kind of left all of us and you went
Yeah.
off to do your own thing
No, that's because
So-
that was when I went to go look for TJ actually, because I wanted to say hi to him.
for the entire night.
No, but I remember I went to go see him after it was over. Yeah, and that night TJ was napping.
Yeah.
after his date.
It was like right after the dance. I went to go sleep.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
I
did my
remember.
Good night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
like me, like he kept taking me away. That wasn't me.
Who were you dating?
This guy.
Do I
I
know?
will tell you offline.
No. He went to a different
No,
school,
just-
right?
just-
Oh,
Just cut this part
Yeah,
out.
just cut it out. just bleep
Okay.
Okay, cut.
it
Okay, and see.
out.
Okay, but yeah, that I think that was the only time we saw each other in high school. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. I think
yeah,
so.
the only time. And I kept telling him that he's shady. For never like trying to come say hi to me whenever I was over at their school. But yeah, I remember because I remember like everybody was like rushing to leave, and I was like, okay, but I want to say bye or hi to my friend, to a friend. And yeah, I remember like the rush of like people going. But that was a interesting night.
I
There.
don't remember anything from that night. I just remember sitting at a table the entire night.
I think yeah.
I remember saying bye to that person.
I'm just wondering, did you ever remember seeing them, like any of my friends at the?
Oh, I don't
that
think I
event?
saw any of.
Or,
Yeah, I don't
like-
think I saw
or,
any
like-
of them.
We were much skinnier, so you probably didn't recognize us.
I actually showed him a picture of it, and he's like, "Wow, you guys are awesome." I was like,
TJ,
Okay.
Okay, I know that is
Or,
true.
because
But
we
why'd
like
you say
different.
it?
Not like thin. Thin was probably a bad word, but like he was like, wow, you guys look different.
Like you guys looked all very very young,
Young.
very baby,
Yeah.
compared to now.
But I mean, if you watch TJ's video of dancing, he looked different.
Yeah, I looked way different. Oh,
No, you know what you should do when you edit? We should just add in a small clip of him dancing.
mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, yes. Insert link. This is where you can find
Here's his
his
video.
video.
No, you can't because it shows my school's name in the background.
Oh.
It's okay, not people know. Gosh. But you know what's funny though? I remember, so like it's because we knew each other since 6th grade. So I remember, when we were young, he hasn't hit puberty yet, so he was short, like probably like this short, a little bit shorter than me.
No, I was way short.
Was it?
Everybody
Like
was
right
a
here by my eyes?
giant. Yeah.
Because I was a tad taller than you. I was short in 6th grade, but like you were shorter. But I remember when I met him that night at the New Year, because we hugged, and I was like, this guy is tall. Yeah, because I was like, we're friends to each other, and like hi, and they hug, and I remember thinking like, was he always this tall? And obviously he grew because.
Did you
the last time
hug
I saw him
like
was
the
6th grade.
X, or did you put your hands?
Yeah.
So
She
yeah,
put
it was
her.
like
She wrapped her.
this.
Yeah, she wrapped her hands under my arms, and then I
But
went
the
over
thing
her
is,
shoulders.
I was like, for me, I was like, oh, like a friend hug, like this, But like he went in like that, like a bear hug first.
Oh.
So, and I wasn't like thinking of that. I was surprised too. I told him like that when he hugged me, it was like a really, really friendly hug. And I was like, whoa, like I haven't seen you.
We just met, TJ.
I was more expecting of like the tap kind of hug or like a side
Yeah,
hug maybe.
pat, pat, pat.
Yeah, but it was like a
I was
full hug.
tired, dude.
He didn't remember.
You were tired, but you hugged really warmly.
Yeah, like when like I was tired, so I wanted to keep resting, and she was short enough for me to just like use as a support.
Didn't you say that like, you didn't remember like you weren't really thinking, or I don't know,
Yeah.
because you were tired?
Yeah, it was like a buzzed kind of feeling.
Sleepwalking. He was like, oh, it's a person. I'm just gonna hug them. They're coming up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know that feeling.
Yeah. I think that's, anyways, only time I've ever seen him. All right, guys. So we are out of time. Thank you, TJ, for joining us for our very first video. If you guys have any other questions about what we talked about, or if you want to hear more about it, please let us know. You can follow us on our social media links below on Facebook and Instagram. Other than that, like our video, subscribe to us, and look forward to more talks with people. Bye.
Bye.